Uh, listen, with all the troubleshooting that we had to do
Right,
today,
right, right, right. Let's get to
intro.
it.
Da-da-da!
Hey, what's happening,
There's,
world?
there's your intro.
There you go. Well, we got
Hmm.
the Shut Up and Ride Three's the Show podcast finally kicking off here. We got Chantel on her wheels, still headed towards the shy
Right.
and by up to Milwaukee, huh, lady?
Yes, sir.
That's beautiful.
That's
Yep, on
beautiful.
my way.
All right, and as we all know, I be John.
And
And
I'm
I'm
Cindy.
Chantel. That's Cindy Benson. Chantel.
Listen, what's going on, beautiful ladies?
Well, I thought about this. I've been thinking about this topic for a minute. Um,
Uh huh.
just engaging with people, and you get certain treatments from certain folks, and you wonder, like, what do people see? Like, so the topic today is, who do you think you are, and what does the world really see? Who does the world really see?
Okay.
So there's a lot for us to talk about that and break it down.
All right. Who's going first here?
Okay, so
Chantel, you
here's the
want to
first
Okay.
take
question.
this?
How do you define yourself when no one is watching?
How do you define yourself when no one's
When no one
watching?
is watching.
I'm the same.
Yeah, I mean, I try to be my genuine self 24/7, Cindy and Chantel, because I believe in integrity, you know, and I believe integrity is lost in our society nowadays for the most part. Everybody has this facade, especially when it comes to the social media thing, and I just try to be me, genuine, I try to be loving, caring, understanding, you know, and I
Mhm.
think I do okay. And when other folks' perception of me, you know, you have no control over that, because some people will see you, and they'll still try to paint a picture of you that's not of you. And that's why I try
They
to
do.
tell folks, people that know you, regardless of what other folks might try to tell them.
Hmm.
So I believe, if you believe in reps, I really don't believe in reputation, but your reputation is strong, and people know. So it's hard for someone to tarnish that without you showing that to folks that know you, you know, and those that don't know you and want to buy into that. That's because that's what they want to believe in the beginning to begin with. So
And that's what I say to them.
yeah, 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 yeah. I think you two fingers off, but
All right.
I get the picture. I get the picture, and that's and that's me. I'm not going. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to leave you guessing. I'm not going to make you think I'm Bruno Mars putting my pinky finger to the moon. I'm gonna give you the right one. You know what I'm saying?
I know
I'm
you're
gonna
gonna
give
get
you.
the right one, John.
But yeah, but it's all love. It's all love. Chantel, what you got to say?
How do you define yourself when no one is watching?
Well, that is what they call integrity. So what you do when no and you know, I do the golden rule to treat someone like I want to be treated. And so when nobody's looking, same. Um, a couple of weeks ago, as I'm on the motorcycle, I eat hard candy, especially Werther's Original. And, one of my habits, I used to tuck them and throw them away, keep them in my pocket. And I had, little by little, I started just letting them go up in the air. And the reason I did, because I knew nobody was looking. And then I thought about it. I said, man, I need to stop that because just because there ain't nobody looking. And so now I got a purse full of candy wrappers. But it's important. It's important just to do little things like that to sharpen up who you are. To really, because it's hard to see yourself. Somebody often got to tell you, and sometimes when people do, because I sometimes when people give you a layer of who you are, you might not like it. But it's what they see. I know as many layers of me. I know people see layers of me. With the restaurant, they see one or two layers all the time. But I'm much more than that. But I welcome. I don't mind getting critiqued about what people think of me. However, I'm not. How you say? At first I make a joke. What you think about me is none of my business, but it's for real. But I welcome if somebody wants to tell me, I can listen. And I may not have nothing to say right then, but I'm willing to always be better.
Well, we grow every day.
That makes sense.
Yeah,
Every day. Every day you get a chance. We wake
Yeah.
up, we get a chance to just do it different, right? If we feel
right.
we need
Evolve
to.
into a better person.
Yeah, I'm becoming. Yeah, I'm becoming. I'm not who I am. I'm who I'm becoming. And every day, yeah, I'm hoping to be better version
Right.
of
Yeah.
And that's all you can do. That's all you can do. Miss Cindy Fenty.
So the question is, how do you define yourself when no one's watching?
Right.
I don't, I feel like defining myself, I don't do that. I
Right.
don't feel the need to define myself. What I feel the need to do is make corrections, if necessary as we go along this journey, right? Um, but people do a great job of defining me. So why do I need to do that? Go ahead, guys. I'm up. I'm up. I'm up. All of the above. Everything you say I am.
that.
Right.
Yeah.
Well,
Until you
that's
get
why I
to know
try to
me.
tell people
Right.
don't, yeah, I try to
Hey,
tell folks don't put too much stock on people's perception of you, especially if
No.
it's a negative perception, especially when you know what you've done. And like the old saying goes, God knows my heart. You know what I mean?
He does.
So, hey,
Yeah. I don't worry about it. Like, really. What
yeah,
y'all say, what they think about me is their business.
right.
You
And
know.
and it's funny, when those people try to hold a mirror up to you, they get real mad when you show that mirror to them. You know what I mean? When you turn that mirror around and it's in this, and that's when they really get upset because now you showing them their ugly self, you
They don't
know.
want to see the truth.
Right,
They
right,
don't want to see
right,
the truth, but they
right.
rather project it on someone else.
Yeah, yeah.
You know,
You can't
don't
allow
you
people to
dare
do
try
that.
to, so-called outshine them, and that's their perception. Because ain't nobody
Right,
trying to outshine you.
right. I'm
You
just
just
trying to
being
be me.
yourself.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I
And
tell you
that's
that.
crazy.
Yeah, it is. It's the truth. That's it's the way it works.
Yeah,
Somebody always. It was funny. A lot of times, I'll hear it from someone else. as to the things that's being said. And people, they don't really think to yourself, oh, well, if I tell this person that, yeah, that person doesn't think I'm a bad person, so they'll come and tell me.
Right, right, right. You be like, you be like, what?
You assholes.
Right, 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 right. And it is funny, man. And the thing about it, you have to laugh. You know what I'm saying? You gotta laugh at that crap. You know, if
Yeah.
not, you be too busy trying to adjust yourself to what other people want to see instead of being who you want to see.
And
You
I ain't
know,
fitting into nobody's damn box. I'm not.
exactly. You know,
I'm
I don't
not.
even
I'm
like
sorry.
boxes.
When
I
I
don't
like to
even-
stretch out, you know,
right,
so
right, right, right,
confinement no way.
right. If I'm supposed to
And
be
that's
in a,
a choice, really.
yeah,
It really is a choice to really fit into their boxes,
yeah.
what they think you are.
And it's kind of impossible because people perception of you, those that want to do that, it changes as their need or what they want you to be change. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know, you run yourself ragged. You know, and I believe Chantel is on Highway 80 by now. She should be, and it's a lot of, it's like open country
So she ain't got
space
no
there.
signal.
Right, right, probably not.
Well,
You know, so
let's
she'll
go
probably
to the
come
next
back in.
question. I can see when
Yes.
she drops back in.
All right.
So let's see. Do you think that people see the real you or a version you created?
Well, if they see the version you created, then that's who you are. You know what I mean? And if it's
I think
the
you
real
got to
you,
create
or
a version.
right, that's the thing. You shouldn't have to create anything. Just be
You're trying
yourself.
too hard.
Right, right. I mean, if you're trying to play a character, trying to play a role, then now you're trying to create something. But if
And that's
you're
not
you,
real. That's called wearing a mask.
right, right, right.
We
But
ain't doing that.
no, not at all. What you
Is
think?
it truly possible to know yourself outside of the other people? No. Is it possible to truly know yourself outside of other people's opinions?
Oh, definitely. You better know yourself. You know, or you'd be a
Some people
puppet on a
don't.
string. You'd be a puppet on a string, man. Who wants to be a puppet?
I don't know. You'd be surprised. You really be surprised, John. There's a lot of
Yeah,
people that look at others and admire them and want to be them other than being themselves.
yeah,
I don't ever want to be nobody else but me.
yeah. I was about to say that's kind of hard for me to fathom. You know what I mean? I can't even fathom that wanting to be somebody else. And I know many folks with a whole lot of so-called riches, material things, or whatever. And I'm generally happy for them. You know what I mean? Because
Hmm.
anybody can obtain it. But I mean, it's whatever makes you happy. Personally, what you looking at?
The cat.
Uh,
Angel, get out of there. Get out. He's in the bookshelf.
oh yeah, maybe he's trying to obtain some knowledge.
No, he's trying to break my stuff. He looks like he's stuck. Are you stuck? Damn fool, he's stuck. Get out of there. Get out. Come on out. Out. I love him so much.
Yeah, how old is he?
He's what, like 1.5?
Oh, he's a kitty.
And so I got a friend who can get me another Siamese, and
Yeah,
I'm highly considering it.
really. You
I
like
was never
cats,
a
huh?
cat person, I promise you.
Yeah,
Mm-mm. But
yeah.
I like him.
Yeah. I like other people pets. I don't like pets in my house, to tell you the truth.
But then I'm thinking to myself, my daughter's not doing a good job of taking care of him. You
Right,
know what I'm saying? And if I bring another one, that'll be all on me. And
right,
if we're gonna
right,
travel, where are they gonna go?
right. See, that's the thing nowadays. Yeah. That's something people don't consider. And then people want to bring their animals to other people's house. You know what I mean? I don't think that's right.
No.
How you just gonna bring your dog over to my house? Knowing, especially knowing that I don't have animals. You know,
Yeah.
I don't like that at all.
But I took my dog one time to a shelter. We went for like a week, and he
Uh-huh.
came back all screwed up. Even though we could
Yeah.
have seen him on the camera and all of that,
Right.
he was all screwed up. He was never the same.
Really.
Yeah. So it's harder putting them in kennels and stuff.
Did he seem like he was abused or something or neglected?
I don't think he was. He's just he's a dog that likes people around him. You
Right.
know.
Oh, okay.
So they had him in a room by himself.
Right.
So he didn't
Not
like
even
that.
around other dogs.
He went around other dogs, but they kept him mostly by himself.
Uh,
And I'm just like, he was such a sweetheart.
yeah.
But he's gone now. Oh, that was a side note.
All
Oh,
right.
all
Let's
right, let's
get
do it
back
again.
on
Let's see what
topic. Real quick,
we be
what's your
getting
cat's
off track
name?
sometimes.
Real
Huh?
quick, what's the cat's name?
Angel.
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 Okay.
Hmm. I didn't name him
All right.
Angel. He at the shelter named him Angel.
Really.
So
All right.
I
Back
gotta
to the
name
regular
him.
scheduled program.
Okay. So hmm. How much of your identity is shaped by race, gender, religion, or culture?
Identity. Well, my identity, I believe, has been shaped by my parents, the way I was raised, what I was taught to, believe and defend and stand for. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So, and like I said, looking at my skin, you won't be able to tell, but I'm a multiracial individual. My granddaddy was white, full
Mm-hmm.
Irish. My name is John Fitzgerald McKay.
Ah, I
You
got
don't,
Irish in me too.
right,
That
you don't
explains a
get no
lot,
more.
John.
Right, and so I mean, even though from my lingo, it's because, like I say, a lot of my my conversation, when people think that, okay, you sound like you don't like these people, blah 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 blah. No, when I'm speaking facts and I'm talking about the government and I'm talking about representatives, is it my fault that they all old white folks? You know what I mean? I mean, that's just the reality of it. It don't, and like I tell folks, if you look at my page or if you know my social circle and whatnot, I have a lot of white friends. You know what I mean? But like that goes back to what we were saying earlier. People that know you know you. You know what
Mm.
I mean? And they know that no, you're not a hateful person. You're just speaking your truth and you speaking rawly. And like I tell folks, you might not like my delivery, you might not like my words, but let me know when I'm lying. You know, and that's all I could do.
Well, I must say this.
So,
You haven't been cussing a lot lately, so thank you.
huh?
I
Oh
said you
no,
haven't been cussing a lot
you
lately, so
ladies, yeah, y'all cuss like 10 times as much as I did last week. So and and that is a good thing because I am working on it. I'm trying not to come across so abrasive, but you know, some folks need to thicken up their skin too. You know what I mean? Because especially, I don't know. I just you tend to speak to a certain demographic of folks in a different way. And with
mm,
me, like my ex used to say, she could tell when I'm talking to a female because my voice isn't as, you know what I mean, isn't as abrasive
abrasive.
as with a male. And I
Mm.
feel it should be that way. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's just not that I'm being flirtatious or anything, but why would I address a woman the same way I address a man? You know, I don't know. What you think?
Hmm. If my identity is shaped by race, gender, religion, or culture, I would say yes. Yes and no. Yes and
Explain.
no.
Explain, please.
I have to. So, regardless of my encounters with race, gender, religion, and cultures,
Uh-huh.
regardless of what I absorb from people, I still decide what I want to absorb. And I mean, sometimes I think you learn something from everyone.
Yeah.
Does the learning shape you? Yeah, I would say so. Because
Right.
sometimes some things we learn are positive, and then we learn from other people's experiences that'll be bad.
Right.
And
Right.
that's religion. I mean, I've had church hurt before.
Yeah.
I've had encounters with male and females that were positive and negative. Um, Learned a lot from men and women in my dating days. I learned a lot from men about men, like how some men have insecurities. So
Mhm.
understanding that it does make you approach when you're approaching a fella, you just get that understanding. Some have insecurities, some are sure about themselves, and everybody's different.
Right.
So from race, well, are we really going to touch on that? But I just believe I love humans.
Right.
Okay, it doesn't matter the color as long as my color is red. Love,
Uh-huh.
respect. That's it. As long as you show love and respect, I am so receptive.
Right. You
Okay.
see, and but on the thing of race,
Mhm.
like I try to tell people, us as far as black folks, we have all it is our nature to love and try to preserve life. At least that's what our nature used to be. And like I tell people, that's why it was so easy for us to be treated the way we was treated, because it
Mhm.
was just infathomable for us to treat a person the way we was treated. We didn't think that that type of evil was out there amongst walking men. You know what I mean? For someone to show up and act like a savage, act like an animal, that could
Mm,
just kill with indiscretion, you know, and to do what was done to our people,
mm.
so to say that you're either, when people say they're colorblind or whatever, you know what I'm saying, to the effect what you were saying, I think it's kind of naive, because you're leaving yourself to be a victim, just like our ancestors were. When because you'll go to sleep thinking you could trust this person that you invited into your life, into your home, and this person has malice in his heart all the while. No matter what they show you, them people were smiling during the daytime when they was talking to the natives, when they was talking to the indigenous folks. They gave them blankets and gave them food and taught them this and taught them that.
Find
And they
them
were
up.
just waiting on the right moment to strike, and they struck when they was asleep.
That's still
You know
happening
what I
today.
mean?
Today,
Exactly, exactly. That's what I'm saying. So don't allow yourself to be put to sleep. You know what I
and
mean?
that's
That's
not even
why.
a race thing.
Yeah,
That's a
right.
human thing.
That's what I'm saying. Nowadays, it's like that poisonous spirit, that conniving, hateful heart has been has been trickled down. The haters taught hate. Like my man Chuck D, in one of his raps, he said the haters taught hate. That's why we gang bang. You know what I mean? And they want to make you think that the only gangbangers out there are black and brown, when gangs has been around forever. When you talk about lynch mobs, you know what I'm saying? When you talk about
Italian mob.
overseers, when you talk about the original police, and even to this day, you know, what I'm saying? Look at these ICE agents, with the mask on. That's just like wearing the hoods. You know what I
Intimidating,
mean?
yeah.
You're trying to cover your face while you want to be out here, you know what I'm saying, trying to act like you tough and this and that, when you're really a coward hiding behind a mask, a badge, and your government. But that it always has been, and for us to to say no, it's not like that, then to me, you might as well go ahead and join them because you're not helping your people. What, you got bit by something?
Some my blood sweet.
Anyway, I'm sure I would keep my opinion to myself. But anyway,
Appreciate that.
but
No, but
anyway,
seriously, it makes
right?
sense what you're saying.
You know what I'm saying? We got to think realistically about this thing. You know what I'm saying? And it's just that's why our people, a lot of our folks do what they do. As far as the killing, as far as the mistreatment of each other, family turning on family, you know, and that wasn't our nature,
No,
but we've been served that hate so much, that
it was
in a lot of
learned.
folks it's embedded. Yeah, it's learned behavior, you
Hmm.
know. Like I
And
was having
now
a conversation.
everybody thinks that's normal.
Yeah, like I was having this conversation with these young folks the other day, and I was telling them pretty much the same thing. A lot of behavior that you see with our people is learned behavior. It's not our nature. It was
Mm,
not our nature to for a man to bed with another man, for our women to bed with other women. You know what I mean? That was not us. That was that. That's that cave mentality. That's that cave
mm,
behavior. And
mm,
but it's just been forced on us so much over the last 400 or 500 years, however long it is. You know
mm.
what I mean? That
Yeah,
now, it's and people think it's the norm, and even some folks saying you're born these ways. You know what I mean? And no, we wasn't. We're not
yeah.
here for that. We're not here for that. But unfortunately, so many in our own circle, in our own society, and our own people buy into it and promote it. You know, so well now
It's really,
a lot of our
mm,
children are unguided.
yeah,
So what they do, it's a lot of copycat behavior going on. Because that's all they got to go by.
yeah.
Instead of being taught, they just seeing what they see, and
Exactly what
it's a
we said
shame.
with one of the other questions, right?
Yeah,
It's nobody wants to be themselves.
right,
It's
right.
easier to try to be someone else that
Yeah,
they emulate,
yeah,
and
yeah,
then you lose sight of yourself. Like,
yeah.
who are
And
you?
I saw that a lot in the mental health field. And when especially in those residential facilities, because you have a lot of children that have come through that yeah, they so-called ADHD and blah blah blah, the phony labels they want to put on them. But
Mm-hmm.
then when they come in and they see a child that's got a lot of hesitation scars on them, they call them, when they self-harm, you know what I mean? And
Mm-hmm.
now all of a sudden, like, oh, this is another way to get attention. So so they start self-harming,
Mm-hmm.
and parents that come and visit their child, like, what's this? Hey, it's copycat behavior, you
Yeah.
know. It's something that they learn from someone else instead of getting their own identity and being themselves. That's why I try to tell folks, if you can, by all means, keep your child out of them places, you know. And that's going against my own, you know what I'm saying? Because that's how I got paid. But am I in it for the money, or am I in it to correct the child? And for me, it was correcting the child,
Of course.
because like I've
And
always said, regardless of how many degrees I may have attained, I'd have never made the money that other folks was making. You know what I
it's
mean? If you know what I mean.
yeah, but it's important for you to focus on changing the child because I believe in the domino effect. The
Yeah,
domino effect,
yeah,
right? One person transfers energy to you, and another transfers to another person, and it keep
yeah,
going and going until everybody's in a mood,
yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah. And
Or
like I,
even abuse.
right. And like I've told folks, I've run across a couple of those children that I had dealt with, in a behavioral health center, and the gratitude that was displayed to me, you know what I'm saying, for the little guidance, even though you only had those children for 6 to 18 months of their life,
Hmm.
that impression that you give them by being so genuine and speaking the truth to them, when they come and tell you, that they kind of follow that roadmap you laid out for them and it's worked out for them, that's
Mm,
bigger than any check that could be cut for you.
yeah,
Knowing that you saved that life. People always say, well, if we could just save one life, it's well worth it. But most folks don't believe that. You know what I mean?
they
Even though
say
they
it.
say it, you know what I'm saying?
I
They
know.
really don't believe that. But it's the God, honest to God's truth. Just knowing one young man kept himself out of that penal system, and he decided, hey, it's better to struggle free than to struggle locked up, like Mr. John always told us. You
Mm,
know, because when you're locked up and struggling, hey man, that's hell. You talk about hell on earth. Try going through a penitentiary system for some shit days. I can't imagine. I can't imagine being locked up for a day. You know. So imagine these cats out here doing years and years.
mm.
It's got to be torture, man. Mental torture. You know, it's crazy.
Next question.
Okay.
What labels do you reject that others assign to you and why? Mhm.
But I never really cared about labels and what people
Good,
thought
that's
about
me
me.
too. I don't give a shit about
It's
that.
it
Say
just
what you
never
want to
bothered.
say.
But the one thing I really, and people don't mean no harm when they say it, but it really bothered me when people like, well, you just speak so passionately, you know,
Why
but
does that bother you?
it's like time because it's like I don't know. It just seemed like like I don't know. To
I
tell you
would.
the truth,
What
I've
context
always
would they
questioned
say
that
that?
for
I'm
myself.
curious.
I've always questioned that for myself. I'm like, dude, why does that bother me? Because they don't mean no harm, but
Would
it
you? Was you
just,
cussing?
I always got
And there
some,
might have been a
I
sarcastic
always
one to
got some
say,
flavor. I always had some flavor for words in my in my commentary, especially when it comes to certain things. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
But being around you ladies and so I've been trying to calm them down, you
You're doing
know,
good. You're doing good.
and it's and
You're doing
and
good.
um and like when I talk to some of my more educated brothers, you know what
Mhm.
I'm saying? I try to pick up on their words, you know what I mean, and pick up on how they express themselves, but then it comes back down to a lot of times. I be like, man, bullshit, you know, and both, you
So that
know.
does help shape your identity.
I wouldn't say identity, probably the way I express myself, you know.
Well, an identity is not just one thing. It's probably a
It's a
few things put together,
conglomeration, yeah,
right?
including expression, I guess.
Including expression.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
I think I picked up along the way just ways on sometimes I would be stuck on how to respond to people. And
Uh,
I tell you, like right now, um, there was a lady, there was someone, let's say it's someone who should be highly respected, which I do, yeah. And they were kind of mean to me. So you know what my response is?
what's that?
Are you okay?
That's what my that's what my daughter told me last week. She goes, David, just offer them a hug.
Yes.
Maybe they
Are
need a
you
hug.
okay? I'm
Yeah.
concerned. Are you okay?
Right, 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 right.
And I mean that with
Yeah,
love.
yeah,
Because if I come in peace all the
right,
time,
right.
unless I'm provoked.
Exactly.
If it's just like if you try to cut me or shove me or
Right, 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 right,
that's different.
right,
My default, I come in peace. You don't bother me, I don't bother you.
right. Yeah,
Um, but yeah, try that. If someone's mean to you, you gotta lower your eyebrows. Are you okay?
right.
Do you need my help?
Right, right,
You need
right.
to talk to something? You want
But
to talk
with a
about
lot of
something?
folks, that just irritates them even more. Your
Oh, shit.
kindness, You know, right. You know, your kindness to their disrespect or their
Oh well.
provocation, to their
Change your mindset.
provocation, right. Yeah,
Change
yeah,
your
true,
ways.
true, true.
Ain't nobody, not everyone is trying to have conflict with you.
Right,
And
right.
you're conflicting with yourself.
I was about to say a lot of folks feed off of that conflict. You know what I
Yeah, they
mean?
do.
They
Because the one
feed off.
who's projecting it is hoping for me to project back.
Yeah,
And then we've got, boop, boop, boop.
it's their daily bread, so to speak.
Who wants to do that?
You know?
I'm
Yeah.
sorry. I'm too cool for that shit.
Hey, can you see the chat? Do you have the chat
Yeah.
up? Okay.
No one said anything, but let's see.
We've had a couple of audience folks out there here and there. You know. What you typing out there?
I see we have one person on there. Feel free
Hold
to
on one
comment.
second. Hold on one second.
Mm-hmm. Now you're hanging with me. So let's see what else we got on the line there. Mm-hmm. Oh, I don't think I answered that question. I don't
What
think
was
I
that?
answered the question. Did I?
What
What
question
labels
was?
do you reject
No,
that
you
others
didn't.
assign to you? I didn't.
No. We just went off of me saying passion.
You know what? People don't have the balls to tell me what labels, to give me labels. They don't have the balls. They don't.
Is that right?
I hear about it from others and then I laugh like, really?
Right,
Really?
right,
That's what I
right,
said?
right,
Really? I don't
right.
even see
Yeah,
myself doing that. Like, really?
right.
I've been called like stuck up and just
But you hear it
all
from the
kinds of
third
things.
party,
All kinds of stuff. Yeah.
you know. See, but you know that's the thing though. That's one thing my parents always said. Never draw for hearsay, you know. Never draw for hearsay. Because
Like, who cares?
if a
Let
coward
them
can't
say it
say
to
what they got to
myself.
say, or if a coward can't say what they got to say to you, it ain't even worth hearing. And it's definitely not
No,
worth, you know what I'm saying, responding to.
it
You
don't affect
know,
my day.
right? Do what you do. Just laugh at it. You know, laugh at them, and hey,
I hope
it's
you have a better
crazy.
day. That's it.
Exactly.
Hmm.
Like I always said, it's impossible, pretty much, for a person to go tell somebody what I said because chances are they heard it before I told you. You know what
Mm.
I mean? I want to speak my mind. You know what I'm saying? I don't want nobody misconstruing what I got to say to you. You
Yeah.
know? So no, it ain't no well, you go tell such and such, I said such and such.
Mm.
No, never
No, we
never
ain't
that
doing
type of
that.
party with me. You know
Nah.
what I mean? I don't get
I don't
down like
mind
that.
saying things to people's face.
Right,
It's not
right.
what you say, but how you say it.
Yeah,
And I
yeah.
believe I can
You
say to
know,
you, John, what you said to me the other day, I really, it didn't sit well with me.
right,
And I think you could have said it a little different. It really
right,
hurt my feelings, John.
right.
Do you think you can say it a little better? What?
Right, right.
Or I could be like, nigga, or
Right,
and be
right,
like
right,
that.
right.
We
Right
ain't
now, I'm
doing
looking
that.
at the
We ain't in
face
high
of,
school.
I'm looking at the face you had when you were saying it. I'm like,
Which
wow,
one?
if I didn't know nobody, if I didn't know no better, I think I said something to her.
No.
Right.
No, 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 not at all.
Yeah, but no, that's just yeah, that's something, you know. Yeah, you
Let's
can't
see.
control
Oh,
other people's thoughts.
here's a good one.
What's that?
Masks versus authenticity.
Oh,
Do
authenticity all
you
day.
do you wear a mask
No, never,
in different environments?
never.
Work, home,
that's
social?
that's that's why
No?
that's why some folks can't stand me. I'm the same, man. I'm the
Well,
same wherever I'm at. You
if they
know,
look at my social media, it's got cobwebs on there, so
uh, nah, I'm the same, regardless if I'm around millionaires or damn pensionaires. You know what I mean? From the prince to the pauper. You know what I mean? I'm gonna give you what you give me. You
I don't
know,
think I change. I don't change.
no, it can't change.
You might see me in a different mood, my mood, but it's the same mood. If I'm
Right,
upset, I'm upset. And a lot of time if I'm upset, I'm probably not gonna come around people.
right,
I like
right,
to go through my stuff,
right,
and then, when the sunshine and rainbows come out again, hey,
right,
your
right.
love
Yeah, but
hearts.
I get quiet. I tend to get quiet. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I get quiet before I explode. It's like the calm before the storm. You know what I mean?
hmm
So
I think I'm
yeah,
an easy
no.
read also. Like you could probably, if I'm out, you could probably
Uh,
look at my face, my resting face, and you probably like she got some deep thoughts going on there. You
right.
know,
Oh yeah.
I'm easy
And
to read.
that's a blessing and a curse for me, because I could, because the eyes never lie, Manny. You know what I mean? The eyes don't lie, and I tend to be able to see that in people easily. And I could pretty much tell you your emotions just from simply looking in your eyes. You know, I can't hear you. Your mic is off. Something happened to your mic. Refresh your screen. I see your lips moving, but you're not saying anything. Hey, still can't hear you. What in the world? We had such a good thing going too. Then you went and got silent on me. No. And I used to be a good lip reader when I was younger, but
It
I
says that
just
it's
oh, now I
okay.
hear you.
You hear me now?
Yeah, yeah. There you go. What you do?
I just changed the microphones
Oh,
on
okay.
these settings.
Maybe your mic got
Okay.
hot and shut itself off.
I don't know there.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird, but let's see. There we go. All
I was
right.
about to say, move your camera to your left a little more. Just a tad bit. There you go. Now you're centered.
All right. Thank you for
With that
that.
big old smile.
So, you know, smiling is my part of my default personality. This is who I am. And
It's healthy.
John,
It's healthy.
John, how
Yeah.
many times you see me come up like I just come in the house, I'm just like, how many times?
Not often. Not
Not
often.
often.
Not often.
Not often.
That's when I know something's wrong with you. I'm like, what's going on, youngin? You know?
See,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
me, I think it's important to snap back quick. If you're going through something, what is the quickest way to bring you out of it, right? Out of that mood.
Right.
Like for me, it'll be either listening to music if I can't get out to be around my
That's what I was about to
friends,
say. Music. Yeah, definitely
music.
music. Music. Music.
I'll just pop some
Yeah.
music in my head and or do a
Yeah.
chore that I don't want to do and set them some music and it's
Yeah.
done.
Yeah.
Think it through while I'm listening. And
Music is the soul of the man. We supposed to be doing the karaoke version every time we think of something.
I don't know.
Hey, I want to know who's that one person that's been watching consistently.
I don't
You
even know
can't
how
see
to
the
find
name?
out.
Hey,
No, it doesn't.
identify yourself,
It
please.
doesn't.
We would
No,
like to
they're
say
they're not
thank
there
you.
anymore. They're gone.
I got one person on mine.
Oh, you do?
Yeah. Let me see if I can check my chat. Okay, it's down here. Who is that? That's Chantel's way. Hey, y'all, feel free to comment.
That's me.
Never.
That
Oh,
was me. I'm the moderator today.
oh, okay. There you go. All right. Well, who
So
are
next
you?
question. We're
Go
gonna just
ahead.
answer two more questions because it's like we'll have to do a part two next Wednesday.
Yeah, yeah,
But this
yeah,
is a really interesting
yeah.
topic.
And
I
and I
think
like
so.
the way you present it too, Miss
Yeah.
Commentator.
Thank you,
The
thank you, thank you, sir.
narrator. Right, right.
Let's see. Hmm. Can you live authentically in a world that rewards conformity?
Been doing it. Been doing it all my life. You know.
Why? You
Yeah.
know, this what's the opposite of authenticity is freaking
Fake.
fake.
Yeah, Fugazi.
Fake.
Why you think so
Why would
many
you want to be
folks don't
fake?
like you? Why you think people don't like you? You know, it's because you're just a genuine individual. You know,
I
and like
have
I
to be.
say, right, like I say, I got that. It's crazy because I think I was about to tell you before we retried the podcast is that I had a brother mention something to me in '99 about an individual or certain individuals. You know what I mean about their feeling towards me, and something took place 18 years later. I'm talking to a different person. I'm a young lady I grew up with, and she had the same thing to say about this particular person, damn near verbatim. And her
Mm,
and this other guy that said it in '99 don't even know each other, never spoke to each other.
wow.
And they had the same thing to say, damn near word for word about this individual. And like I've always told the children, if somebody from two, three, four different places got the same thing to say about you, must be some truth to it, you know? Must be some truth to it.
That's true.
Yeah.
But then if there are people or this is my situation there where there's just one person that goes around telling all these lies to everyone that would hear it.
Uh-huh.
And the problem I have is the people that is being told to, that out of all of y'all, nobody would come and like or check the person. You ain't gotta tell me, but
Right.
check the person, especially if you know it sounds ridiculous.
Right. 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 But they may have. They may
And
have.
then,
How do you know
but
they
no, no,
haven't?
what they would say to me is, oh, I don't know why that person keeps doing that. I don't know why that person keeps talking about you like that.
And did you ask them? Why don't they ask them?
No, I just don't want to hear shit from them no more.
Right.
Because
Right.
here's the
Right.
thing, don't tell me shit.
Right.
If you
That's
can't
right.
tell me what's said, don't say shit to me.
No, but I had a partner back to that same individual. I'm trying not to name this asshole, but he's a nephew of mine. You know what I mean? And I have a neutral partner that would come and tell me, like, man, your nephew, blah 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 blah. I used to keep telling him, dude, I don't have a problem with my nephew. If my nephew got a problem with me, that's on him. You know what I mean? He hasn't expressed that to me. You know, until to the point to where I had to tell my man, look here, bro. I said, the next time you come to me with that, you and I gonna have a problem. I keep telling you, I don't care what he got to say about me because he's too much of a coward to say it to me. So I'm not gonna confront him over it. If that's what you expected me to do, it's not gonna happen. Because I consider it hearsay, even though I believe what you're telling me. You know what I mean? Because I know him, but he has yet to express it to me. Therefore, it doesn't even matter, man. Tell you the truth. So yeah, I could
Who are
care
you when
less,
you
man.
feel safe, seen, and unjudged?
Wait, say that again.
Who are you when you feel safe, seen, and unjudged?
I'm judged unapologetically.
All the time.
You know,
I'm
unapologetically.
Cindy.
See?
This is, what you see is what you get.
Right, 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 right. Yeah, and it's funny, man, because like we said, people spend too much time wearing a mask, trying to impress folks,
Yeah,
and then they go
trying
home
to,
and they just
be
so
with the group
unhappy.
over there.
Right, right, right. And you just feel like, then when you by yourself and you thinking about it, man, that ain't me, blah, blah, blah. Now you got the tears of a clown, you know, the sad way.
Mm.
Like Smokey would say, the tears of a clown when there's no one around. Are you familiar with that
The
song?
tales of a clown.
The tears.
The tears of a clown. Ooh. Mm. I think John's phone overheat. You're back. There you go.
I
I don't know what
lost
happened.
you. Charlie
You got
just,
me back. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Oh, dang it. John,
there we go. Yeah,
you
Charlie
can hear
kept,
me, John? Can you hear me?
yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me now?
I
Yeah,
can hear
first I
you.
could. I had a phone call trying to come in. When I cut it off, it kind of
Oh,
interrupted
okay.
us. Yeah,
It's all right.
yeah, my bad.
You're good, man. You're good. Um, is your online self different from your real life self?
Cindy, I'm telling you, I can't say it enough. What you see is what you get. Online, offline, cross line,
Down the
short,
line,
short line, down
cross
the
the line, horizontal,
line.
straight,
Right, right. Zigzag line,
quickly.
whatever. I am who I am, and I've that's what I I don't know how to be anyone else. I don't never wanted to be anyone else. You know what I mean? I cheer everybody on,
I don't know what this
and I
is.
just
Is
wish
this like
people would
a
do the
fad?
same for me. Right? I never wanted to be Captain Crunch.
I don't
you
get it.
know,
I mean, it's really
yeah,
disappointing. It's disappointing to see people not acting like themselves, especially when you know someone
right,
and you
right.
know that they're not acting like themselves.
Right, right, right. They put this facade out there, like,
That's
man, people know you.
disappointing.
You do know people know you, right? And they try to act like they're this person that they're not. They
I
never
look at it,
been,
I'm just like, don't you understand? The real you is cooler,
right? Or not,
or
or
maybe
not.
not.
And
Maybe they got to put on a facade to not be seem like an asshole.
exactly,
Mm.
exactly. And most phony folks are assholes, unless they're just totally insecure individuals, and they're trying to fit in. Now that could be a lot too, then, but that could come from like like a person that hasn't had that strong will, but come up
Mhm.
being put down a lot. You know what I mean? And they just
Mhm.
didn't grow up being having friends or having a circle, and they want that circle of friends. You know what I mean? Just so they don't,
Mhm.
continue to be lonely, because they don't know how to love themselves being alone. You know,
That's it.
but you gotta love yourself, man. You love yourself. It's hard for someone to damage you. You know.
But that's it. See, I feel like these people that are lost in their self identity, they can't find
Hmm.
it. Um, Maybe they were hurt
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
earlier on in
Definitely.
their years, in their formative
Definitely.
years,
Yeah. Or there was never
and
given that strength to. You know what I mean? It was just not instilled in them to be an
yeah,
individual. Like my
Yeah.
mom would always say, what do you care about what somebody got to say about you? They talked about Christ, Look what they did today on Jesus, So what what I'm saying, what make you think you
Hmm.
better than that if that person is real? You know what I
That
mean?
part.
You
And you
know?
know what's funny? That is the prayer I pray when somebody does something to me. I say,
Uh-huh.
Lord Jesus, they did worse to you.
Yeah.
So who am I
Yeah.
that
Who are
made more?
you? Right, 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 right.
Go
And
ahead, do it.
and that
Take
right,
the
right,
other
right.
eye.
Say what you will. Like I had to
Yeah.
tell a nephew of mine some years back, someone tried to put in his head that I said all these negative things about certain people. And I handed him my phone. I'm like, man, there's over 200 numbers in that phone. Dial any of them and tell them what you was
Mm,
told about me. I guarantee you, they ought to tell you, no, that's not your uncle. You know, you know,
mm.
your integrity goes a long way. You know what I mean?
It
I'm
really
like,
does.
nephew, that's not me, man. I would never say that. I would never do that.
Hmm.
And
But
yeah,
someone who really knows you, will know if that sounds like you.
right, right,
Yeah.
right. And some folks, they have this perception of you because of what they may have seen you at a certain point, reacting to a certain situation. There's a couple of people, that's on Facebook, and they know I'm generally a good person, but they
Hmm.
think that I'm like and no tolerance for anything. You know what I'm saying? Like this one chick, she
Because you
put
cuss?
out,
Why?
huh?
Because you cuss?
Right, right, right.
See?
Because she posed a question, something like something like if a woman said this, I forgot exactly what it was, but I gave her an answer totally what she didn't expect to come from me. You know what I
Mm.
mean? And she'd say, John, I would expect for you to cuss them out. You know, I say, no, sweetheart. I say, what you got to understand is I always extend respect before I disrespect, you know? So it ain't just that I just come out of bag and just disrespect people. That's not
You
me.
extend
Respect
respect
before I
before
disrespect.
disrespect.
Right. You know,
Okay.
that
I get
means
that.
that I gave you the opportunity to have a respectful
To
interaction
correct
with
it.
me.
Let's
You know
fix
what I
it.
mean? But if you constantly want to, be on that, then hey, man, tell you the truth, brother, that's it. I
I'm
got no
working
problem. I'm an expert at that shit. You know what I mean? I create words. You know what I'm saying, Cindy? When I get
mm-hmm.
to going, it's like my conjunction junction. What's your function? I put some words together for you, and you look it up there, man. Is that a word? Hey.
What?
I could conjoin some words. Them adjectives, man, that I get to create adjectives, you know.
I'm working on a new song, right?
What's that?
And
An original?
no,
Oh,
not an original. I ain't at that level yet.
yes, you are. Tap into it. Watch you.
Um, well,
We ought to write one together.
yeah. I mean, I'm sure there'll be a song that'll come out of the experiences that I've had in
That you
life.
have it now, right? Right?
Yes,
Right?
past, present, and future. But
Yeah.
this song is called it's called Material Man.
Material man.
Material Man.
Who made it?
Gregory Isaac.
Gregory Isaac. Okay.
Yes.
That's the
And
guy that made Night Nurse, right?
he's the one that made Night Nurse.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
the lyrics are very, very interesting.
Okay. Yeah.
I
I used
resonate with it a lot.
Yeah, I can't say I know the song offhand, but when I spent that stint in Advent Health back in 21, like I said, I was hospitalized due to an infection from my drive line for a
Mm-hmm.
month. That's when I discovered Gregory Isaac because I had this gorgeous nurse. She was my overnight nurse, and she was
Mm-hmm.
just gorgeous. And I'm listening to my reggae. I put it on
Mm-hmm.
Marley's radio because I used to just listen to straight Marley, and they used to love to hear the music coming out my room. But when I heard that night nurse, I waited till she came on, and she's like, "Mr. McKay, where the music?" I'm like, "I was waiting on you because I got something queued up for you," and I played that, and she just happened to be a Jamaican lady, and she got such a kick out of that. Such a kick out of that.
I'm gonna read some of the lyrics for you.
All right.
It says, it's called Material Man, okay?
Okay.
And it starts, it says, I know you wasn't around when I was slaving myself. Yet you sit back and relax all the wealth. This no is saying after, or is it praises that you're giving onto Rasta? And when they say, is it you say, are you giving praises to me, or are you looking for material things, basically? Are you
Right.
treating me
Right.
well because you love me, or are you looking for material things? All right.
Right.
And he says, I give a hand unto the wicked, but I give it to him with caution. Okay.
Right.
And it says, while I was giving love, he was seeking for reaction.
Right.
How
Yeah.
many times do you see
And
that?
that song has
Giving
got to
people
be
love
at
and
least
they hmm?
right. And that song got to be at least 40, 50 years old, but it's still
Yeah,
prevalent throughout
yeah,
time. That
yeah.
goes to show you that man and women been dealing with the same things forever.
Forever.
Like I tell folks, there's nothing new under the sun. You know,
No. While I was
yeah,
given love, and that has happened to me so many times. I
yeah,
approach people with love, peace and love. And
yeah,
I'm all just kind of quirky and naive. Hey, how you doing?
right, 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 right.
Get in my face.
Yeah. And a lot of folks have preconceived notions about you because of what someone else had told them. And to me, those are the weakest people. You know what I mean?
The ones who talk shit
Right. No, those who draw an opinion of you before they even get to know you.
before they know
You
you.
know, like, dude, if that's what you're about, then I really don't care to get to know you anyway.
Mm-mm.
Like I tell a lot of folks, I might not know you, but I know your kind. You know, and
Yeah,
I chose not to be around you. You know,
yeah.
like that one chick when you go to introduce me to her, and she looked at me like I was a walking virus or some shit. I would never give her the time of day.
Judge.
I'd never give her the time of day.
People
Because
judge.
yeah, you don't, you know,
Listen, Jesus could be a beggar on the street, and y'all would treat him bad.
right, 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 yeah. But it was just, I found it funny. You know what I mean? It's just funny. And I could see over time as she saw me more and more, and she saw all the other folks around her gravitating to me. You know what I mean? And you still sit on that same freaking bar stool that I first saw you at. You know what I'm saying? So you go ahead. You go ahead about yourself, you know.
Listen, people make their own
Yeah,
choices.
yeah.
I hold adults accountable for their actions.
Definitely,
Okay?
definitely, definitely. Like one of my nieces, she presented a scenario about a young lady at work, and she like, she never speak to her, blah blah blah, when she see her. So I asked my niece, I'm like, have you tried speaking to her? And she was like, no. I'm like, well, maybe she's intimidated, because my niece ran with certain people at work. That's because that's the level she is at work. And the other young lady, she was at, you know what I mean? They're both, what is it, Laotian or whatever, they're from Laos.
Hmm.
They're well, maybe the other lady, but anyway, they're both Oriental, you
Hmm.
know, and one is always seen with the so-called white folks, because that's the position in the company. And the other one is always around black women because, you know what I'm saying? That's their position in the company. But when they see each other, they never spoke to each other. So I said, why don't you try speaking to her? You know, speak to her. And if she chose not to speak to you a couple of times, then hey, you tried, so be
Hmm.
it. But
Yeah.
maybe she's intimidated because of who you running with, you know what I'm saying, while you at work. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? She could probably be like, well, maybe she blah, blah, blah. A lot of people had their own, you know what I'm saying, perception of certain people. Hey, she made it back. What's up, Jack? You must be closer to
Hey,
That's it for
Chicago.
karaoke. That's it for
Right.
karaoke, John.
Right.
I, I'm in. I think I am just outside. I don't even know where I'm at. I'm on 264.
You mean 294?
Right. Yeah, let me hold on. I'll tell you. Yeah, 294. That's it.
Okay, what
Or
sign you see?
94.
Got a 6'9".
On what sign you see? What the
That's
streets?
gonna smell like weed.
Right, right. What is the street you see up there?
Gary, Chicago Airport, exit 5.
Gary, Chicago Airport. Okay, so you like around Klein Avenue, something like that?
Kennedy Avenue.
Kennedy, yeah. Yeah, you'll see Klein in a little bit. So you coming through
Yeah, there go
Gary.
Klein.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
So you coming through Gary right now. Okay.
Okay.
Is it
Yeah.
close? She's
I'm
close
not
to
sure
you?
where the huh? Yeah, as a
Is
matter
she
of
close
fact,
to
she's
you?
only like a half hour from me on that bike. You know,
Oh,
because if she would
okay.
have stayed on 80, she could have brought 80 to 355 and been at me real quick. You know,
Mm.
yeah.
Where you
But
in?
she's just,
Chicago or?
I'm in Bolingbrook. I'm just south of Chicago.
Oh, okay.
I'm in Bolingbrook. Yeah, so you're on
Is it cold
294. So
there?
you're no,
Not
it's
cold.
hot.
Give me cold. What's it?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
it's
hot.
Yeah.
chilly right now.
It's a windy city.
Cause is it raining there? Is it raining?
Uh-uh.
Yeah.
No, it's not raining where I'm at. It's clear
It's really
skies.
cloudy here.
Yeah.
Really cloudy, like it was raining somewhere, but it
Where
ain't.
to probably get
Hopefully
clear
it
as you
won't.
come north. As you get further north, you'll probably run into the weather I'm seeing.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. Okay.
I was about to go to Lois karaoke.
Ah, you decided to get on out of the house, huh?
I ain't going.
Right. Right.
By the
I
time
held
I
her.
get over there, it's time to turn back around.
Right. We held her up. What time is it?
What time is it?
8:30.
Your time? So it's
8:30.
Okay,
7:30. So it's 7:30 where
30
we're
Call it
here.
at.
8:30.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of late. I
Yeah.
think you ought to try
They
that
finish
song
at
you trying to
10.
learn. Sing some of that song you trying
No,
to
I'm
learn.
gonna do it next time. Hmm?
Hey, well,
Hmm?
you got
You
karaoke at
know,
Chantel's. There's karaoke and open mic tomorrow. And
tomorrow?
Cheyenne, and another young girl is hosting it. The 20, but the Cheyenne's what 20, and another lady about 29. She wants to sing while Cheyenne plays the guitar. So they were like, "Oh, we can do karaoke." So they're supposed to be the karaoke tomorrow.
Oh, okay. You ought to
Okay.
promote that on your page.
Yeah, they put a flyer. I gotta get it to send it to me so I can put it out there.
Right.
But
Okay,
Cindy,
cool.
if you're out and about, if you don't get your karaoke fix, you come by and
Yeah,
get
help them out,
fixed.
Cindy. Yeah, help them out.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you
Oh,
go.
Cindy, you see
Hey,
the all white party in the
I
month?
will. Well, all
See
white
the
party where?
flyer? There's a flyer for the all white party into the month with the reggae band. All white.
Really?
Where?
At your place?
Yep.
Yeah.
July 27th,
Blazing
Sunday.
Posse?
Yeah.
Huh?
If I show up there
That's
in all white,
Blazing Posse?
Yes.
if I show up there in all white, people back here would be so mad at me because every time I get invited to an all white party, I show up in all black.
Uh, we know you. Look, put a white collar on and all the
Right.
rest black.
I have a white T-shirt or something. You know.
Are you talking about the Island Vibes thing?
Um, I'm talking about. I put a flyer out for all white party at Chantel's. You didn't see it?
No, ma'am.
I haven't seen it
Okay.
either. Yeah.
All right, but I'll make sure. I'll make sure. And I told my sisters to come out too. And they said they were gonna come out.
Yeah. That's cool.
Keela and Keisha.
Yeah.
All right, they said, welcome to Illinois.
There you go. So are you gonna stay on
Did you
290
put it
or
on
you
Facebook or Instagram?
I don't remember. Hold on, let me see.
Don't look. You're driving.
right,
You're driving.
right.
Don't
Hold
you
up.
do
Wait
that.
till you get to where you going, young lady. You doing too
Yeah,
much on that
I'll
mic.
look. I'll look.
She done got us frozen. She already going to look. Yeah, she is.
You
Yeah,
see? And I'm yawning too.
she's so close to me yet so far. But she's gonna just
Mm.
peel off and go north on 294. Yeah, the Dan Ryan. But now, she gonna take 294. That'll take her through Alsop and whatnot. I should go run into her because actually she gonna be. Yeah, she
I
gonna have,
just sent a text message.
right. So you're gonna take 294 on up to Wisconsin, right? That's what your GPS telling you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
294 and 5.9 miles.
right. So you're gonna cross 55.
I
I'm
will
at
give it
53 and 55. What's your gas looking like?
I'm gonna stop for gas because I got 59 miles to eat, so I'm gonna stop soon for gas.
Right.
And I gotta pee.
You know,
I'm gonna stop soon.
I'm gonna tell you something.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you something. I started
Let me
making the
tell you
flyer.
something.
I started making the flyer, and I put wear white.
Wow.
Great minds think alike, man.
There you go. There you go. But that's
How
Hey,
does
cool.
that happen?
greatness is greatness. That is.
Those are the
Yeah.
things that you're like,
That's cosmic.
Yeah, that's
I'm
that
telling you.
melanin.
Yeah. Yeah. Run
There's
one of
a,
those questions back to Chantel that we answered. See what she got to say while we got on the line.
Have you ever been surprised? Have you ever, well, no, have you ever surprised people by not fitting the box they put you in?
yes. I never fit in a box. I never gonna fit in. I'm unorthodox everything. So
See, that's why
you know,
that's why we're together. We both had the same answer, Chantel.
We ain't
Like
fitting in no
later,
box.
right?
yeah,
Later for a box. You
I don't
put a
even know how
kitten
to
in a
do that.
Don't
box,
you see
right? You
these
put
Yeah,
a turtle.
wings? My wings got
like,
a
I'm the
flap,
shape.
and you just might
I,
get knocked out.
Right,
yeah, I'm the shape that I'm
can't,
supposed to be.
right. You can't cage a wild bird. You
No.
know,
Nah,
not meant to be caged.
Now, which labels
right.
have you rejected? Which labels have you rejected? People say some shit about you, and you're like, that shit ain't true.
I be like, oh, okay, well maybe at one time, but I'm better now
What happened?
because I've had people tell me that I was this or that, and instead of rejecting, I'll say, well, hey, I'm better now. That might have been, but it's more to me now.
Right, right, right. That's
You know,
funny.
good thing
Well,
I ain't the same. Good thing I ain't the same way. You know,
well,
because
I admit to
oh,
being a crazy bitch in the past for being
say
provoked.
again.
I said I'd admit for being a crazy bitch in the past.
Hey, crazy bitch outfit is still in the closet.
When provoked. When
Right.
provoked.
But know this, you still in control. You
I
know, you
am.
always in control. And you know just when to put that outfit on. Oh, you want me to put this on? Let me show you what it look like. Hold on.
Exactly. That's what I was saying. So they can't get mad when they bring it out you. You know, hey,
You
you
ask
Yeah.
for it.
under,
What you
that's what
see
I
is
was
what you
telling
get.
her. Yeah, hey Chantel, that's what I was telling her that I had to tell a young lady on Facebook. Before I disrespect, I gave respect. You know,
Yeah.
so hey, yeah, that's
Yeah,
crazy.
you gotta always give a rat a way out.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
always give them a way out. Cause
yeah,
cause they don't yeah, they think they the biggest bully or the biggest bad person until they meet somebody else.
yeah,
Until they meet
yeah.
somebody else.
Yeah, like Mike Tyson said, everybody think they're a tough guy till they get punched in the mouth.
I
That'll
learned
do
something from my
it.
cat. I learned something from my cat.
What's that?
When I first got the cat, I was just like messing with him one time. He was just chilling and he looking so restful there on the floor.
Right,
And I would just like mess with him, just mess with him.
right,
And he would get up and he would move in another spot. I follow him to
right.
the next spot and I did the same thing, mess
Kept
with him.
picking at him.
Yes, he got up again and he went a little bit further. I went and I followed him. And the pattern is he just kept moving. And then
Right,
he went so far where I couldn't even find him.
right.
Sometimes you gotta
Yeah,
disappear and people
yeah.
act the asshole.
There it is. There it is. There it is. And you lucky he didn't give you that other reaction where he just attacked.
Scratch me.
Yeah, yeah. Like leave me alone. You know what I mean? I mean, times I gotta
I
tell
think
you.
one time he did.
You know, right.
Hmm.
And that's the
So,
reaction a lot of people want to try to get out of you so they can play victim now. They can suddenly play
while I
victim.
was giving love, he was seeking for reaction.
There you go. There you go. I'm
That
out
one,
to listen to that song.
I'm singing that one on the 27th.
I'm so it's called Material Man.
Material Man.
I'm gonna have to check that
You
out.
need to listen to that one, Chantel.
Material man.
Material Man by Gregory Isaac.
Oh, it's a reggae song?
It's a reggae
Yeah.
song, but there's a message in it.
Okay.
It's something we could all resonate to.
Oh yeah, always a message. What are you talking about?
Oh yeah. That's what I learned about Marley, and it's crazy because I didn't get that perception until about 15 years ago. I'm like, man, oh, this dude's music is pretty much biblical,
He's a
you know?
philosopher. Mm.
Yeah, you know. And then I learned something even more crazier when I had my grandson down there for his 17th birthday a couple of years ago. We was at the resort up there in Daytona, and I ran into this older Jamaican cat, and that's when he schooled me on Peter Tosh. You know, Peter Tosh music
Mm-hmm.
was before Marley's, and a lot of Marley music was Peter Tosh music. You know, but it
Yeah.
was just it's just society accepted one without what I'm saying, but they didn't accept the other because the other one was a little more abrasive. You know,
Mm.
and that's why Peter Tosh wasn't as big worldwide as Bob Marley was, because Bob Marley, he packaged himself to be more of an acceptable individual when Peter Tosh was just raw. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like, I don't care to fit in your box. I don't care about your perception of me, you know. And that's why I like that one song I hear is
What's
called
up?
Walking Razor. Did I say that
Song.
right? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I love that
Walking
song.
Razor.
Yeah, I love that song. You know,
Walking
Walking
raisin.
Razor.
I'm gonna look it up. I don't know it.
Yeah,
Oh,
I'm
yeah,
gonna listen
yes.
to it.
I think it's Walking Razor or something like that. Yeah.
okay.
Well, another question we had. Let's see which one. We had some good ones. Hmm.
But they always kind of related.
Yeah, they
Anything you
were.
touch,
I'm trying
yeah,
to
they
find
always
one
kind
that's kind of not related, but who are you when you feel safe, seen, and unjudged?
Who am I when I feel
Seen,
safe,
seen,
seen, and unjudged?
safe, and unjudged. That's basically that's who you are when we're doing our karaoke sessions. I feel
yeah.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
safe,
Yeah. For
seen.
sure.
We're cheering for you. We're cheering for each other, and unjudged. Nobody judges us. No judgment zone. Right?
Listen. I am at a point in my life where if all those things are not present with me, I'm probably not gonna be there.
Yeah. What's the point?
Because I got the choice. I'm in control of me. I don't need places no more that everybody ain't happy to
Right,
see me.
right.
You know, if they just mediocre, then I'll see them whenever I see them.
Hey,
Yeah.
hey, Chantel.
You know,
Right.
or if they don't
Speaking
care,
of your question, you
yeah.
asked me through text. The only one I know for sure is are you coming up on 55 yet?
I'm at
Yeah, so you'll be
95th
seeing
Street.
55 in about 2 seconds. If you go south on 55, about 5 minutes to a street called Cass, Cass, and you take that north exit about a half mile up, you'll see one on your right.
And I got a place right on Weed Street if I want to go. So
Yeah, but that's
I'm
downtown
okay.
Chicago.
I'll
That's
be all right.
downtown Chicago.
Yeah.
You talking about Weed Street downtown?
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, that's about a
Yeah,
half.
yeah, I
Yeah, that's
was.
some
Yeah.
traffic you don't want to. Well, it might be a little clear right now, but no, that's like 4 times further than what I'm telling you. 4 or 5 times further than what I'm telling you.
Okay, I got you.
But yeah,
Oh, oh, what?
yeah. So if you want
Okay,
to,
4 5 times
no,
strong.
not
Will
stronger,
I get
but
some on
further. I'm
Sunday?
saying, you know what I'm
Oh,
saying, right? Like you have to
oh,
take
further. Oh,
55
okay, I
north or
got
290 north to run into it, which is about 20 minutes. It take you 20 minutes off to where
you. Oh,
I'm
I
talking
see.
about. It only take you about 5 minutes off being on that bike. You know what I mean? It only take you about 5 minutes south to where
Okay,
you want to go because
yeah.
you're going to cross 55. So if you want, you can take 55 south to Cass Avenue, which is only about 3 exits. You know what I'm saying? And you bust that right going north, and then you just got a half a mile, and it'll be to your right in this strip joint, this strip mall. It's up to you.
Okay, if I,
Do you think that's something
all
you want
right.
to do? Because I jump in the car and I come meet you real quick. I'm only about 10 minutes from that place.
Where that's at? You say
Yeah, take 55
55.
south to Cass Avenue.
I'm on mile marker 13. Let's
You should
see if
see
this is
75th Street. You
if
should
I
see
had
75th
passed.
Street. Then you'll see Highway 55.
Wait a sec. I just passed Scope.
You just pass who?
Scope is a building like a
Right.
warehouse. Scope.
That exit of 55 will be on your
The
right.
big
Be to your right. 55 coming up. Boom. Are you going to do it or what? Or you going to keep riding?
that's if I had passed it, that's what I'm trying to see. If
If you
I had
pass
passed it.
55 already?
Yeah, I'm trying to see if I had passed it yet.
If you did, you,
I'm coming up on the street now. Okay, it says a Worth is a big here water tower. I'm at 12 and 20th and 95th Street, two
okay, yeah, you ain't
miles.
came across 95th Street yet. So you want to make that move or what?
Okay. Yeah, just send me you got a little can text me.
I have to cut us off and look it up, but all you gotta do is take the fast after Cash Street.
Yeah, just cut me off and text me a little address or something so I can
Let me
put
see
in
if
the
I can look it up.
GPS.
We'll have to. Well, hey Cindy, I don't even know the name of the place. Say the truth. Hey Jordan, do you know the dude? You wouldn't know. He don't fuck around. Forgive my language.
You might need to
Hey,
Google it.
listen, we're on live.
But
Hey, hear me, John?
Right.
We're on
Write
live,
it.
you
yeah,
know.
Write it up. I don't know the name of the place, so
Google it.
I just know where it's at.
Yeah. I
I
tell you
know.
what,
Hey, I know.
don't
Put
sweat it.
in 8123 South Cash Street because that's the name of the bar I was at the other day. That's the address to the bar, and it's in the same
You
place.
gotta text it to her, John.
Hold on. Hold on. Let me
Hold on,
see.
hold on. It's called 81.
8123 South Cash.
While I was giving love, he was seeking for reaction.
That's the name of a place called a Q Bar. It's called a Q Bar. I'm about to jump in the car while we still on the phone. I'll meet you over there. Huh?
I really
Yeah.
went
Yeah,
no.
that's where homeboy used to bounce at.
Too late. I'm gonna be doing some
Huh?
home karaoke.
There you go.
I'm gonna be
Sing
doing
us a
some
song
home
real
karaoke.
quick, Cindy. Let us hear it. What you got to say?
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
Hey, Joe, would you
No.
lock the front door real quick? I'll go out the front.
I'm shy.
Yeah, right.
They gotta come and see at Chantel's. They gotta come and see us at Chantel's. I'm shy.
You
What you
heard me?
say?
I'm
See,
11. I'm 11 minutes
Right.
away, John.
All right, I
Okay.
should be there in about 15.
yeah.
All right.
Well, this concludes the show, right?
Yes.
All right.
If you don't know, now you
I
know.
think we ought to hang on until we get together, and then we'll close it up. Let's talk for another 15 minutes. What you
Okay.
think?
All right.
John having his first conference call, his three-way call.
Here's a good question. Do stereotypes or first impressions
What was that?
impact how the world sees you?
But it do last unless you can recreate, unless you just give them more to go on.
Sometimes.
Because sometimes I can be a flake with first impressions, you know, in terms of, if I'm late for something or, if I didn't call somebody back
Yeah.
and then they'll find out that I ain't as bad as they
Yeah.
thought. I used to get that a lot. I don't get it as much, but I have gotten
I
it.
get that I'm bougie, stuck up, self-centered.
Uh, not
Yes,
you.
but I don't be caring. You know that. I still show
Hey,
them love.
right. Be like, okay. Hey, I always say I'm bougetto. Bougie and ghetto.
I like that one. Where'd John go? He dropped off. He dropped off.
Uh,
All right. So oh, he's
okay.
back. He's back.
Yeah, I must hit a dead spot coming out this subdivision.
You
Okay,
heard
y'all hear me?
that question, John?
What was it?
How do stereotypes or first impressions impact how the world sees you?
Stereo. Well, I mean, you know, a lot of folks, I guess, that don't know me and their topic, they would look at me as an angry black man, you know,
Mm.
which it never bothered me, that's just your misperception of me, and if what I got to say and my interpretation of it makes you think I'm angry, then that's your perception. That's on you. That's cool,
Yeah.
but I don't feel angry. I might look it. You know what I'm saying? I might look at when I'm expressing myself. Of course, your facial expression gonna change depending on how you speaking. You know what I mean? But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, but you know, because for one, I gotta try to keep my pressure killed. You know what I mean? At a certain tone. So I try not to let too much upset me. So, but I'm human. I get upset. Yeah, but I'm not no angry black man. You know what I'm saying? Why I got to be an angry black man instead of an angry man? You know what I mean? They're just angered over something. Look at the little duckies crossing the street. You better hurry up, shorty. The little baby dragging ass. Forgive my language, but that's what he's
Yeah.
doing. Little Donald, hurry up, Donald. Yeah, but no, yeah, but that's what I get. I get sometimes, and even from black folks. I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
wow, really? I had a black dude. I had a dude tell me that another cat told him that I sent him some racist emails. It's a black dude said I'm being racist towards him. I'm like, wow, how does that happen? You know, how does that happen?
Were you his superior?
Was I what?
Were you his superior?
Superior? You mean inferior?
No, were you his superior? Was he a boss?
Was
Was you
I
the
his
boss
superior?
on
No,
his job?
no. These are classmates of mine. We was when we was trying to get this athletic board together, and they asked me to be the sergeant at arms. You know, like I say, a lot of people think they want me for my personality and my way of expressing myself until that personality and that expression is directed towards them. You know what I mean? And now all of a sudden, I'm a problem. But no, this is what you said you wanted. What you thought I was gonna perceive I was gonna be different when it came to you. That was another question we answered earlier. Said, do you change up in different situations and different environments? I try to treat everybody the same, and I try to speak the same on all levels. Of course, your your vocabulary might tend to change when you're around certain folks, but the point you get across is gonna always be the same. You know what I mean? You might, what I'm saying? It's like if you're talking to
How
a
your
child,
vocab?
you don't want to, say you want to come, huh? How would my vocabulary change? I was about to give you an example. Let's
Uh-huh.
say if I'm talking to a child and I'm trying
Instead of
to,
going to
you
baby,
know,
right?
huh?
I was like, if you're talking to a baby, you go to the potty. You talking to a grown up, you say, hey, you going to the bathroom?
Hey,
Go to the stinker.
right, oh man, go ahead and take that crap, take that dump,
You
or
look at
whatever,
you're sounding
But it's
constipated.
right, you know, you
Full of
your
shit.
different audiences. I guess. Right, exactly.
Right.
And it's like we've had conversations during a few podcasts about how I would address certain things, certain people in certain situations.
Mm-hmm.
Like when you being greeted or being talked to in an evil, hateful, hurtful manner. You know what I'm saying? Why would I, try to speak to this person in a kind, soft tone, like, please don't talk to me like that. Please don't blah blah. No, man, I'm gonna give you what you're trying to give
No,
me.
John. You
You
have to
know,
ask them, are you okay?
and give them a hug.
Do you need a hug?
Right, right. And in a perfect world, that's how it'd be. But we all know
Well, I
that
mean, they
ain't a
could get
perfect
pissed
world.
off or just, realize that they're coming off like an
Yeah.
asshole.
Right.
And
True.
I'm not
True.
receptive to that.
Not at
Yeah,
all. Not at all.
no one should be.
Like this jerk is.
No one should be. Did you guys freeze?
Can you hear me, Chantel?
Nope.
Have you came across Kingery Road yet, or you at County Line? Oh, you ain't even
No,
hear
I'm
me.
at Cass.
Oh, okay. Yeah, come on up. Go north. Well,
I'm,
you got the directions on. Yeah, I'm coming up on Lamont. I'm about a edge and a half away.
oh, it says south. It says South Cass Avenue.
No, you want to go right. The address is 8123 South Cass Avenue, but you have to take Cass Avenue north to get to that address.
I am.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh yeah, I am.
And it's like you're gonna go through one light, and right before you get to the second light, it'll be in a strip mall to your right.
Okay.
Did you guys
You
have
fill up at that.
I think what I'm gonna do is go in this
Right, I'm about to
bathroom.
say you fill up at that Shell station.
I think I'm gonna go in
Q-Bar.
this. Yeah, I'm gonna go to this Shell station and go to the
Okay.
bathroom. Yeah.
Yeah, I should be there in about 4 minutes.
Okay. Wee.
so y'all down for one more question?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yep.
Have you ever reinvented yourself online or in real life? And why?
Have. Well,
Chantel.
several times. Several
In what
times.
way? In what way?
Um,
We can't hear you. She took off her headphones. She took off her mic.
Right. We can't hear you,
I said, you
Chantel.
go first.
Oh,
Can
we
you hear me
already
now?
answered these questions.
No, you didn't answer this one,
Yeah, we
John.
can hear you.
We didn't answer this one,
I
John.
didn't answer that. And it's did I reinvent myself?
Have you ever reinvented
I
yourself
wouldn't.
online or in real life?
I mean, in real life, you always try to improve from yesterday. You know, if that's a reinvention, then I guess I have to say yes. You
Hmm.
know, but but to
Question.
reinvent myself to be a certain way online.
Becky? Thank you.
Mute.
So, but to say that I reinvented myself to look a certain way online, other than what I am in person, I would have to say no. You know,
Right.
because I try to be genuine, whether in the flesh or on the screen. You know, I mean, I'm not getting paid to act out a script or some
No.
crap. You know, so I'm not gonna do it.
I
You
think
know what I mean?
my default way is me. But over the years, you certain experiences you have, it kind of pushes you to adjust. I wouldn't say I reinvent. I
Right,
would say I adjust. And
right, right.
I feel reinventing is a major thing. That means, can I even identify? Is it
Yeah,
really me when I'm done reinventing?
right. It's an overhaul type thing. You know, you're changing everything. You know, so
No, I don't think I
you know, like
reinvent.
certain folks that move out of town and they try to perceive that there's something that they're not. Like a lot of guys I know that would move out of Chicago and go to certain places and they try to act like they was this, and that in Chicago, knowing that you wasn't like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you got people thinking that, you know, you was this individual that a lot of guys try to put it off as if they was running shit. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
When you was running away from things. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
So and you get that most from ex-convicts because you ex-convict, every one of them pretty much try to say how they ran the sale house.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They was this, and that in jail when no, Pimp, you wasn't none of that. You know. But yeah. Should I pull up at the gas station on Chantel?
I think so.
Yeah.
Well, let's see you guys together, cause she drove far just to drive
Right,
by
right,
your city and not stop in. So
right. And
that's
plus where she gotta go is pretty much right across the street.
okay.
Yeah.
Well, I was living love.
That's great.
He was seeking for reaction. That's
There you go.
the verse that rings in my head. Cause I've been so
Yeah.
naive, like for so many years. When you're just like you're offering love to people, like come in peace, they come in love, and then they just
Right.
like,
I wouldn't call it naive.
hmm,
You was being your genuine self. You know what I mean?
I'm being my genuine self,
Not naive.
and they were not.
Right. Right. Well, there's a bike up there in front of me.
I feel like you've been gone for a long time, dude.
I
Are you
have
even
been.
still
It's
a
been 10
Sanfordan?
days so far. Oh, I'm definitely the same person.
A Sanfordan. Is that what we say? A Sanford and Sanford citizen. Okay, now you're gone. I don't know what happened there. Hey! I feel like I need to take a screenshot. Hold on.
Hey, we made it. We're in Darien, Illinois. Darien? Yeah, this is Darien. Like,
All right, y'all sound crackly, so we're gonna use this opportunity to wrap up and
right.
so much for karaoke.
That's all right. It's all right. But we got to capture this epic moment from Sanford to Illinois.
Huh?
I'm gonna get some gas.
I wish you could have came down further by because gas is from here.
I'm gonna get
Don't
some
like
gas first.
yeah, I was just saying he went back 3 more south, about 10 more, not even 10 miles. Gas is 60 cents cheaper than it is right here. That's great. Got a mini me on the back of the bike.
What'd you
I
say?
said about 4 Essex now, gas is 60 cents cheaper.
So I ain't pulling into somewhere else. And so this tank only 6 gallons.
No, you good. That's only $1.20. Well, no, 60,
Right.
no, that's $3.60. Yeah, that's all.
This is gas. Yeah.
A 6-gallon tank.
Yeah. I
There
save
you
a
go.
dollar.
No, right. No, you save almost $4, ain't it? Yeah. And if you had about 17 gallons, it'd be worth it. That's about
Yeah. Yeah.
$10.
Probably.
You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Cindy, can you hear us? Oh, okay.
I can hear y'all.
All right. Well, we're going
So
to
it's
call
a
it the
shut
show.
up and ride show. And we did it.
I can't hear you, Cindy.
Can't hear me? Can you hear me?
I hear you on
Yes.
Chantel's phone, but not on mine. Maybe it's because I didn't turn over to the media yet. But
That's because your name is Cindy too.
what you say? What you say, Cindy?
Trouble man,
Nothing,
Cindy.
Cindy.
All I'm hearing is laughter. I can't hear the words she's saying. Can you understand the words coming out of my mouth?
Yes, Cindy, I understand.
All right. But we're going to sign off from this. Hey,
Hey,
now,
hold it down in
make
Florida
sure we
for us,
got it
Cindy. Hold it
recorded.
down.
I'm holding
Yeah.
it down. I'm keeping it hot for y'all.
Hey,
It'll be
Right.
90 degrees when you come back.
there you go.
Yeah,
There
I
you
know
go.
it.
So this show is recorded, right? We got this one. We ain't going to lose this one, are we?
This one is yes. This one's a good. This one's
It's live on Facebook.
it should be.
Okay, cool.
It's on
Right.
Facebook
All right, Cindy, love
and
you.
and YouTube.
YouTube.
Love you
YouTube
too.
and Facebook. All right, sweetheart.
Love you
Be
guys.
good.
All right.
All right,
Bye
later.
bye.
Drive safe, okay? You, Miss Chantel, drive
Will
safe.
do. Will do.
All right.